What is going on, everybody? 21 out of 29. 21 days in. It has been a long 3 weeks. Pretty short 3 weeks, too. Time has been flying by. Seems like the closer we get to the end of this whole thing, the more feedback I'm starting to get. It's always interesting how that works, right? Whenever we get close to the end, whenever we get close to the finish line, is when we realize how much fun we're actually having, how fun it is to just connect. Um, so since we only have what 8 more of these trainings that we're going to be doing live, Jacob, what's up, bro? Um, I'm just gonna just riff off shit for the next week, basically. I think we're getting to that point where we have spent enough time over the past 3 weeks talking about so many different things. I've got an engagement, tons of engagement on some topics, a little bit of engagement on others. And I think that we're just getting to the point where I need to turn down my daughter's iPad real quick because it's so damn loud. You guys can't hear it because there's this cool artificial intelligence thing that removes all this noise, or at least I think it does. So give me a second. Real and raw. So yeah, there's a cool part about doing it super, super late. Um, but anyway, today I want to talk about why finding your purpose is a must. There's so many times where I think back on my life and I've been very lost. Um, there was this post I actually reposted on my Facebook. This is like from 2012 or something like that. It was like my birthday or whatever, right? I was like, another year down, another year closer to death, I think is what I put. If you guys are on my Facebook, you'll have seen that. It's pretty funny. But it's crazy how that's what my mentality was like back then. And back then, it was all about death. It was all about wanting to die. It was all about not understanding what my purpose was in the world. And that's why I think the world was dark. I think that's why life was difficult because I didn't really understand why I was living. I didn't really understand what I was waking up for. And so for me, my headspace for a long time in my life has just always been I'm just going to live long enough until I die. I'm just going to go about my day to figure out how to win today, not even win, just to get through the day. And at some point, I'm just going to die. It's literally my mentality. I didn't really care about where I was headed. I didn't really care about what I was accomplishing in life. All I knew is I just had to survive the day. And if I got to the end of the day, great. The worst part about those days is the nights of darkness, the nights where you are just awake and alone and you're not really sure why. You're not really sure why you can't go to sleep. You're not really sure what haunts you to keep you awake. You're not really sure about anything. And if you have those nights or you're having those nights right now, it's because you're not connected to your purpose. You're not connected to the thing that just like fuels you, that charges you, that makes you feel like there's a reason to go to sleep tonight so you can wake up tomorrow and crush the day. Whenever you're laying awake at night and you notice that it's like the days go by super quick. The days go by super quick, and the moment it's dark, it seems like the world stops. It seems like you're just supposed to be in darkness now. And it's like the shittiest feeling because you don't really understand why. It doesn't click, doesn't make any sense. There's no rationale behind it. You don't even understand that it's happening. It's just like this weird void that ends up happening. And I think it's the saddest place I've ever been in my life. I think that majority of the world is asleep. I think majority of the world is in that space, and that fucking sucks. And I think that when you finally start tapping into purpose, because remember, purpose, it can grow. Meaning your path may be destined. There may already be something saying that if you were to follow your gift, you would arrive at a person that you would never have dreamed would be you. But on that same path, there's branches, and those branches take you to the next level of your purpose. So you always have to remember that like your purpose can grow. Your purpose can expand because your potential, your belief in your potential also expands. But the reason why it's important for you to find your purpose in the first place is because it's a sad life when you don't. It's a very dark life when you don't. And it sucks because what happens is Deno, what's up, bro? What happens is, you try to find purpose through other people, right? This is where maybe when you have friends, when you're in a relationship, from your family, whether they're toxic or not, you try to fill this void that you feel in your heart with like toxic friendships with people that just drink and do stupid shit all the time because you think you need people's company. When people say misery loves company, that's what happens. The misery comes from you not knowing your purpose, not knowing why you're on this planet, not knowing why you should go to sleep tonight so you can wake up to crush the day tomorrow. It happens to the best of us where then you go into these relationships that like eat away for you or eat at you for years that damn well don't serve you, but because being inside of those relationships, toxic or not, are the only things that give you meaning, even if the meaning means suffering, because that's the only thing you can associate to it. You stay in those relationships because you find meaning in self in that relationship, even if it hurts you. When it comes to family, parents, anything related to family, sometimes we stay in those environments because we think that that's what a normal person would do. They are loyal to their family, and that gives them meaning. And if you mean something to the family, right? Because we as humans have the pack mentality, then we have a purpose. But the truth is that's not our purpose. What happens is whenever we go outside of ourselves to try to fill this void, nothing external will ever have the answer that you seek. Whenever you have the darkness, whenever you have the void, there's nothing external that will fill that void. It's never going to happen. And I think that um, so many people are asleep, so many people are lost, and nobody talks about what it actually takes to self actualize. Nobody actually talks about what it takes to start tapping into purpose. Like, what the fuck is purpose in the first place? Like, nobody teaches this shit in school. Nobody can really understand it until you find people who are actually purpose driven, who have actually tapped into something inside of them that's bigger than them. When you guys understand that purpose has nothing to do with you, right? Which is crazy because I'm telling you to look inward, right? Look inside of yourself for purpose, but what you'll find is purpose has nothing to do with you. This is where like people start getting lost because to actualize purpose requires you to really understand who you are, and that purpose means servitude. Purpose means you serve people. That's what purpose is. And I think the thing is, most people are so stuck still trying to figure themselves out. They're like, well, how the fuck am I going to serve people when I can't even serve myself? How am I possibly going to give to the world when I feel so lost? When like I'm not squared away. And again, guys, like this is why when you're drinking all the time, and mind you guys, I've been drinking since I was like 12 probably. I think I probably had my first shot at 12 years old. I've been drinking, I've been doing drugs since I was a really, really young kid. All that shit, that's the reason why you're lost. It just creates this veil of darkness. It's all to create more confusion for you. And all of those things, if you think about being straight edge means you don't do any of that shit. You don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't do drugs, you don't do none of that. Shit, not even cigarettes, none of that crap. You don't do it because what happens is you have mental clarity, you have emotional clarity, and it's the scariest thing for people, which is why they try to self-medicate and do those things. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do any of that shit anymore. I've done it so many times in my life, and it never served me. I'm more clear and lethal now than I've ever been, and I can definitely tell you, outside of the Marine Corps, it's the number one reason why I've been able to tap into purpose, where I've been able to tap into something, like, bigger than myself because I'm clear. I don't have the fog. And so when we think about really just finding purpose, it's hard for people because what's required of you is to actually, like, look at all the shit that's wrong with your life, and you have to, like, actively try to start fixing them. And the thing is, all of us, we all have unique things that only we've gone through in our lives, right? Like, we may have similar upbringings, we might have been through similar shit, we might have been from the same places, the same neighborhood, wherever, the same backgrounds, but we've all been brought up different. We've all had different experiences. And those are the experiences that only you can work through and you can understand how that's ever held you back in your life. And you have to intentionally put work in those areas because the work that you put in those areas helps you unlock a gift that you can now help guide other people who have walked the same path you've walked, but haven't gotten to where you've gotten to in life. And I think that's where people get stuck. I think that's really where people get so afraid of themselves. They just don't move because it's hard work. It's very hard work to find your purpose. It's very hard work to live your purpose. It's very hard work to commit to your purpose. Like, think about it. It's like about to be midnight my time. And I said I'm going to do this every single day for 29 days in February. I mean, it's fucking leap year. I've been so fucking busy, but I also know doing these lives, it's purpose for me to do them. I don't know why. There's just something that makes me not go the fuck to sleep until I do the live because that's what I need to do. Because for some reason, even if it's not live interactions, the comments, the feedback, the things that I'm getting from people, there's people telling me like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna miss these lives. I'm gonna miss watching these things." It's like, "Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that because I told you guys from day one, the feedback of knowing what resonates, blah blah blah, that helps me know to just keep going. It fuels me up. But that doesn't mean if people don't show up to the trainings, I'm not going to show up. That's not how purpose works, which is a great way. This is a great segue, like think about it. Whether there's 0 people watching me when I do these trainings or there's 10 or there's 100 people, doesn't fucking matter. I still do these because purpose doesn't state you can only do things on purpose when people are watching and consuming things. That's not what it is. When you guys are posting content, when you guys are doing social media and you get 0 love, purpose doesn't say only do those things if people are engaging with you and showing love. Purpose states you still do it when no matter what the fuck the numbers say, no matter what, because your purpose to do it. And people don't understand how purpose works. Purpose might mean that you show up every single day and you just listen to that voice of God, voice of reason, whatever it is, the universe, you tap into the source and you don't see shit for years. That might be your purpose. It might be that you wait years for all of this shit that you're doing to mean something. But what happens is all of these things that stack up over the years lead to this one critical moment that happens in your life where your purpose is actually like actualized. But what happens for people is they're doing the thing and they're like, well, what the fuck am I doing? I don't see any tangible results. So I'm going to stop. And they stop the sequence. And the sequence stops way before it actualizes. And most people will never experience their purpose simply because they gave up too soon. They had this weird false expectation that their purpose had to do with seeing some type of tangible result. That's not how purpose works. For those of you who actually understand purpose, purpose requires you to continue to sacrifice even if you don't see anything coming back your way. I could be doing these lives for no fucking reason for 29 days, but my reason is something's calling me to do it. So whether anything comes up with this or not. If my goal of actually bringing together all of my audiences, whether the algorithm shows me or not, it doesn't really fucking matter because what's going to happen? Maybe a couple years from now, one of these are going to pop off because of something happening in the world. And if I didn't show up today, then it wouldn't happen in the future. It's the same thing that's happened in the past, guys. Think about it. Has there ever been a time in your life where something happened and you're just like, "Oh shit, it's crazy because I didn't even think about doing that. I haven't even done that shit for months, for years." Like the thing that like kick-started this event happened years ago. You guys ever have something like that happen? Imagine if that thing you did a couple years ago, a couple months ago, you never did. This opportunity that just presented itself to you right now would have never happened. The same thing happens in the grand scheme of things, and I'm talking about years from now, guys. When we think about living your fucking purpose, you could be doing shit right now. You could be planting all the seeds right now and seeing nothing come from it. But what you are meant to become maybe won't be actualized for another 3, 5, or 10 years. The question is, are you going to stop before that can actually happen? Are you going to stop before your purpose is actually fulfilled? Are you going to stop before then? Most people do. Most people don't even get close. Most people get too worried about their egos and their pride. Oh shit, well, do I look stupid for doing this stuff? Like some of the shit that I talk about, it's so normal for me to talk about. I don't even know if it's valuable sometimes. I just know it's valuable for me, so I just talk about it. But imagine if I got so egotistical and in my head where I'm just like, "Oh, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't talk about it because I don't think it will be interesting for people." How dumb do I have to be to think that whatever I'm talking about is not going to change somebody else's life who has not walked the path I've walked yet? You guys get too worried about how you look. You guys get too worried about how the world perceives you. You get too worried about, well, what happens if you do look stupid? Again, that's not how purpose works. Purpose works like this. You do things, right? You take actions, you walk a path and you're like, I'm gonna commit to the fucking path. You fall on your face. You look stupid. You embarrass yourself. You do everything fucking wrong. And you're just like, oh Jesus, is this like was this all for nothing? Was this actually on purpose? Like what the fuck was all this? And what happens through purpose is you go through those thoughts, right? You start questioning, doubting yourself, experiencing fear. You start questioning if you should have done any of that shit in the first place, or if that was just the wrong move, the wrong play. Maybe you should have done something else. And here's where purpose comes in. As you go through those thoughts, those feelings, those emotions, and you start going into a negative spiral, there's some type of wisdom that starts getting extracted. There's some type of like energy that you start feeling, right? So you start going down this negative loop. Should I have done it? Oh, fuck, this was a shit show. I feel embarrassed. I look stupid. I wonder what people are saying about me, blah, 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 blah. And then there's a part of you that just stops everything. There's a part of you that just creates like this calm. There's a negative emotion, there's negative chaos that's happening, but for some reason you can find peace. And in that peace comes the exact wisdom that you would have only gotten if you fell on your fucking face, got embarrassed, and did the stupid shit. And wisdom starts becoming born. You start finding wisdom. And through the extraction of that wisdom, you start understanding why those events occurred in the first place. Once you start understanding why those events occurred in the first place, then you realize through the learnings, through the teachings of those negative events that you were purposed to experience, you've now extracted a life lesson you will hold dear in your heart that one day you will use. You'll pull it out of your tool belt and use it to serve somebody else. And over time, you find that all of these negative things that you experience in your life become teachings that you can use in your tool belt to now serve somebody down the road or even actively right now. I know there's a lot of times in my life where I was going through the shit and other people were going through similar shit, but I was accelerating through the learnings and the teachings far faster than them. And so what happened was I was using everything I was learning in real time to heal these other people in real time, even though I was literally just a week ahead of them in my healing, in understanding and extracting my teachings. That's how purpose works. And what happens is through your pain, through all of these things, that becomes how you heal people. That becomes how you help people. The question is, are you going to see it that way? The question is, are you going to see all the bullshit that you go through in your life as an opportunity to become that for people? That's the biggest question. Because most people won't. Most people will experience all the turmoil in their life and they'll see it all as negative. They'll never understand the teachings. They'll never understand the wisdom that can be extracted from all of those negative lessons. And the negative lessons are the ones that really change people in the best ways if they let them. All the bad shit that's happening to you in your life right now, if you were just to fucking stop for a minute and just breathe and just be present and just allow yourself to absorb, like, what the fuck are the teachings right now? What are the things right now that I'm supposed to be learning from all of these things not working out in my favor? What can I be grateful for in these moments? And especially if you guys can find gratitude, tap into gratitude during those times, gratitude is one of the best teachers. When you can be grateful for the dark times, gratitude is one of the most powerful teachers. But the question is, what are you going to do? And you guys just have to remember too. It's interesting what happens when one person decides to lean into their purpose. It's interesting what's one person creates when they start really just leaning into who they were meant to be. You might think that you are just one person um, on this journey, on this path, and it's insignificant and your story means nothing. The truth is, it means the world, it means a lot. And that's why finding your purpose is a must because you might be the person that causes the trickle effect for hundreds or thousands of other people to self-actualize. You don't fucking know. You have no clue what type of impact you can have on the world. The question is, are you going to stop like everybody else? Because everybody else at some point, they just give up. They just live the mediocre life. They settle. And then they tell themselves every single night they have to convince themselves that they tried, that they did their best, that they're living the best life that they could live, but they know it's a lie. You know it's a lie. And then the rest of your life is spent trying to convince yourself you're happy when you know damn well you're not. That's what it is. But what happened if you actually believed in yourself and you believe the teachings and you took all of the negative shit that's happening in your life and you learned the lessons that you need to learn, you extracted it so that way you can gift it to other people and you genuinely believe that you can change people's lives and every single day you spend for the rest of your life is spent trying to impact people, help people, change people's perspective, challenge people, call people to the next level, like really hold the standard, hold the line. Imagine if you made that your life's purpose just to be the best version of you so that way others can follow. Imagine in your one lifetime how many lives you would just touch throughout your entire lifetime. And every positive thing that you do for people just by showing up, you don't realize this, but it's not just them that you impact, it's their family. It's their family's family. It shifts. It's massive. So why can't that be you? Why don't you believe that can be you? Why don't you believe that that is you right now? I don't know why people don't really believe that they can be world changers. I don't really understand why people don't believe they can't be the ones that really do some real good in the world. Why it can't be them? Why does it have to be somebody else? Why does it have to be the person that's on TV or a fucking influencer or some other fuck off person? Why does it have to be everybody but you? That means there's a lack of belief in self there, lack of confidence, and more likely a lack of self-worth. You don't even feel worthy of being that for the world. because you don't even value yourself at that level. You don't value your gifts. You don't value all of the shit that you've gone through in your life. But that's why it's even more important for you to do the work. It's always the people that are hurt the most in life that can be the best healers if they actually learn. And the stupid part about this whole situation is there's going to be false fucking healers. There's going to be false motherfuckers that think they're purpose driven and they're going to preach it, but you'll know. You'll just know the difference. It just if you, the energy's off. Like there's no real impact. You just be mindful. And that's why I keep telling you just keep looking inward. Keep finding all the things you need to heal inside of yourself. And eventually your purpose will present itself. But until then, head down, do the work, show up, even on the days where you don't want to, even when you're the only one that shows up, even when there's nobody else there. Whatever calls to you, you just got to show up. That's all I got. We got one more fucking week and then it's game over. I'm just kidding. Then it's done. Then you guys just implement and apply the teachings and that's it. But the truth is, I'll leave you guys with this. Changing your life is not it's not like this huge event. Changing your life is literally a combination of micro incremental changes you make to your mind, to your heart, to your spirit, understanding how to leverage emotions to fuel all of these things. It's all these little things that stack up that change your life. Don't ever think that changing your life has to be this fucking massive show and that there's going to be like this big fucking slow-mo moment and then your life changes. It's not how it works. Life changes from the little things that you implement and learn how to master. And that's a lot of what we've been talking about so far. That's exactly what we're going to finish this entire series with is the little things that matter. The little exercises I have you do, the little things that I have you think about, really sit with to find yourself. Those are the very things you probably have never done in your life or you don't do enough of. And that's why you feel lost. So again, this is the work that's required. And if you do the work, you'll find you. And when you find you, then your life actually starts. That's when it begins. All right. So with that being said, guys, crush it.